Wish you all happy morning. My name is Prem and I'm going to be your English teacher. The session of the day is going to be the second unit of your prose. The name of the prose is it's all about the personality whom you are going to learn. It's about a person whom you are going to learn today. So before getting into the prose in detail, let us warm up ourselves. So here I have sorted out a few questions. So while answering these questionnaire, you will be able to understand what exactly you are going to learn this morning. Fine. The first slide which you are currently looking at, it's all about warming up ourselves. Here in this slide, the very first question is, which is your favorite sport and why? See, all of us will have our own favorite sport activities. Some of us might go for cricket, some of us might end in football, some of us might be interested in playing chess, sort of indoor games. Again, you have divisions like indoor and outdoor games. So taste actually differs. So it's your personal question. So you have to ask yourself the sport which you personally long for, and you also must have the answer for that particular answer, in fact the question. The second one is, how much are you interested in sports? See, certainly we cannot expect all of us to be highly interested in sport activities, because some of us might go for the option of playing games or being interested in games, but others may not. Again, right here, again the taste differs, okay, the liking differs. So what sort of person you are actually, what you are, that's what I want you to contemplate upon. You have to examine yourself. That's what the warm-up is all about before getting into the lesson. So once you are able to answer to all these questions, you will have in fact a clear understanding about the subject. The third one is, how many of you are willing to make sport as your career? See, it's an important question because there are a number of activities which are going around the world. There are a number of options to choose as a career. So what I'm doing right now is teaching as my career. I have taken teaching as my career. There are so many people, right? Engineering, medicine, okay, a lot of jobs available in the market. Apart from which, you also have an option like sport, because right, so when there are sport activities, when they are shown on a television, obviously we sit and watch for hours together. There are so many personalities, in fact famous personalities in sport field, and of course mandatory part, they are earning a lot of money. So this happens. So apart from this, okay, is it really the sport activity making you to think about choosing it as your career? That's your personal interest. So you have to raise a question, because this lesson is obviously going to be on the part of sport, right? Because all the questions deal with sport. So you might guess, okay, of course, right? This lesson is going to be all about sport, the famous personality who is being watched right now in the very first slide. Yes, that particular person whom we are going to learn today. Okay, fine. So it's your wish, your personal desire, your personal interest, okay, and because of which, right, you have a number of questions in the warm-up. You have to ask yourself, you have to find out, are you a sort of a person who is actually behind this sport? Do your parents support you in spending time in sports? If not, why? This is in fact an important question today. In fact, this is an important question in today's context, because many of the parents do not support their children to go for sport activity today, right? Because many of you are highly engaged in sort of curriculum activities where you are asked to involve yourselves in complete study, right? You do your studies, that is your schooling. The moment you are in schooling, right from your LKG to 12th standard, obviously you have your own prescribed lessons where your parents expect you to concentrate highly upon your studies alone. This is what in fact happens, right? Even in villages, right, we hardly come across children playing around. So what sort of parent you have, or what are all their wish? Okay, do they really encourage you, right, in playing games? This you have to ask. If they do not support you in indulging yourselves or in involving yourselves in games, why? You have to ask, why my parents do not allow me? What is happening in and around me? Why do my parents say like this? Why do my parents say not to waste much of my time in sports? Why? So you have to ask yourself. Okay, if time permits, obviously you also can ask your parents who have the answer. The final one is sports are mandatory to all of us. Is it a compulsory no to all of us? Is it compulsory that I should have sort of any game, or is it compulsory? If you personally ask me, right, I would say yes, it's compulsory to all the human beings, right? Because right, we are all made up of physics. So this physics has to be maintained, right? So in order to maintain the physics, right, to lead a healthy life, right, we have to indulge ourselves, involve ourselves in any one of the sport activity. Otherwise, we'll find it very difficult in later point of our time. So the future would be a question mark, right? How strong we are going to be. So in order to make ourselves comfortable, in order to make our body feel like, right, okay, you are okay, you are normal, yes, you are able to do your things on your own, okay, you are able to run, you are able to walk for hours together without any issues, well, you are maintaining your good health, yes, it's all because of this sport activity. It's not that a sport person, right, a person who hops sport as his or her own career, it's not only for that particular person to involve himself or herself in sport activity. It's not that way. So even the doctors, right, in medical field, they suggest us to go for exercises, to daily like exercise. The moment we talk about exercises, obviously this falls under sport activity. So it's a mandatory, it's a compulsory, to all of us to fall in love and to abide by or to practice exercises in our personal lives. Hope you understand. The very first slide, it's all about the first slide. In fact, it helps you to understand the other part of the lesson. Okay, so the lesson is nothing but, right, the lesson is nothing but it's all about the person whom you are going to study. The name of the person is Mary Kom, whom you are actually right now watching or seeing on a screen. So Mary Kom, right, yes, there are so many fields, right, in the world, there are so many sport activities in the world, but what does Mary Kom do? In fact, what did she do? Which sport activity she picked up, and was she able to excel in her sportsmanship in her career? That's what we are going to see actually, look at upon. Okay, fine, let us move on to the next slide. I hope you have understood the warm-up session. So with the understanding of this slide, let us move on to this actual prose. So this is where the actual prose begins. You are going to study the actual prose. This is the content of your prescribed book, because this is one of the important lessons, prose, where any sort of question is right. You have a 3-mark question, 5-mark question talking about the curriculum part. So either a 3-mark or a 5-mark, right? Any question, any one of them is asked in a public examination. It's an important prose. Okay, please keep an eye on it. Okay, now let us get into the actual prose. It's a study about a personality called Mary Kom. Who is she? Yes, the name of the prose is, it's given there, the Queen of Boxing. Yes, Mary Kom has chosen boxing as a career. It's a field of boxing, right? Yes. So Mary Kom is a boxer and the winner of 5 world boxing championships and an Olympic bronze medalist in 2012. See here I have tried my level best to given you in points. Well, the entire prose I have worked out in points manner. Okay, so where you will be able to understand, you will have a clear picture about what the prose is all about. Okay, fine. So the first point says Mary Kom is a boxer. Boxing is her field, and she is the winner of 5 world boxing championships and an Olympic bronze medalist in 2012. Okay, yes. The next point here, as a girl, she used to play various games, right, while studying, right. It might be her schooling, college time. So she used to play a lot of games. It's not that she restricted herself only in boxing, no. Of course, she ended up as a boxer, but before choosing boxing as a career, she used to play a number of games. Okay, so what sort of person you are? Do you really play a number of games? Are you really interested? You have to check yourselves. Okay, yes. Mary Kom took up boxing inspired by, there is a person, Dinko Singh, right, who actually inspired Mary Kom, and because of whom Mary Kom chose boxing as her career, as a field. So Dinko Singh is a person who won a gold in Asian Games in 1998. He's also not an ordinary person. He also has excelled himself in boxing. He also has won in Asian game in 1998. Her first win was a silver medal in USA in 2001. So Mary Kom's first win was a silver medal in USA in 2001. So it's a big part, right? The moment you go into a prose in detail, she explains how she finds, how she struggles, in fact, to move to USA. See, because she is from a poor background, she is from a poor ordinary background, where she finds it very difficult to participate in the international concert, international game. So she finds it really hard. So how she is helped? So her father is able to to help her to some extent, and what happens next is we will see here. She is the only woman boxer to have won a medal in each of the 6 world championships. She was honored with the Padma Shri and the Padma Bhushan for her wonderful achievements in field of sports. She wrote her autobiography Unbreakable in 2003. Fine, this is all points. You don't have any other option except memorizing these points, because there are a number of chances for this particular prose to be asked in a paragraph format. So to answer in a paragraph format, you have to memorize all these points. Okay, fine. So this prose is all about this personality Mary Kom, what she did, how she entered into boxing, what her family background was. Even though she was excelling, she was performing well in boxing, how she struggled to get participated in a number of games, because it is not easy, right? It is not easy to visit international games, to take part in international games, because you have to spend a lot of money. The moment government doesn't support you, the government doesn't undertake you, you have to spend, right, from your own pocket, the money, the mandatory part you have to meet up. Later on, right, the moment, right, you make the world to know about your personality, about your talents, the moment the world recognizes you, the moment the government comes to know about your talents, that's the different story, right? Yes, you become a star. So before becoming a star, before showing up your actual talents, your potentials, your capabilities, it's a real tough time. You have to work hard. Working hard is one of the factors. On the other side, you also have to meet up the mandatory part, right? Money part. So here Mary Kom is from a poor family background. That's what she explains. Okay. Yes. Now let us move on to the Next slide here. See here, Mary Kom comes from a poor family. She took interest in boxing and pursued the same with great difficulty. So she continued with great difficulty. See, in order to have you and practice, daily practice, routine practice, you have to spend time. Apart from spending time, you also spend what? Paisa, money. Money matters. Okay. So the costume which is being used there, the things which are being used for boxing, the places you have to visit, the local tournaments. Okay, so a lot of money is involved. Okay, the moment are poor, the moment you are poor, it's certainly difficult for a person, right, to concentrate and to live in that particular sportsmanship. That's what she expresses. See here, before getting into USA, Mary Kom's father managed rupees just 2,000 for a trip. Her father was able to rotate just rupees 2,000. Just imagine the condition, right? The economical condition of Mary Kom's family. And later on, two MPs, that the member of parliament, the politicians, donated rupees 8,000 together. So altogether now Mary Kom has rupees 10,000. She participated in the Women Boxing Championship in USA in 2001. That happened in 2001, and won a silver medal. Yes. So with all this struggle, right, she took part in the USA Championship, and where she ended up as a silver medalist. Silver medalist. So it's not an easy task to beat someone in abroad. So it's an international trip. Year 2001. This trip is a first international trip where she has to get practice to a number of food habits. At the same time, right, the weather condition, everything matters. So with all these, she was able to give glory to the nation, get glory to the nation by winning the silver medal. She found the life at USA very harsh due to the new environment. Now she explains, right, stay in the USA. She found the life at USA very harsh due to the new environment. It was a new environment. She was not able to adopt herself. She found it very difficult. That's what she explains. Mary Kom thought that she could not return empty-handed after all the efforts that many people had made for her trip. You remember, now you are able to understand, right? See, I'm telling you something individually. So you don't have a clear understanding about a particular subject, whether it's English or any other subject, maths or whatever maybe it is. Always try to put yourself in that particular platform. See, here we are talking about, or we are studying about Mary Kom. Now you place yourself in the place of Mary Kom. Okay, the moment which is being explained. Now Mary Kom actually explains her condition, how she was, how she struggled, and later on how she excelled, how she became the queen of boxing. Now you have to place yourself in the place of Mary Kom in order to have a better understanding. Now she is explaining that she could not return empty-handed because there are so many people who have helped her mentally, physically, economically. Okay, so there are so many people who have shown their helping hands. So obviously what happens, come on, there are so many people who have helped me, so I must really come out with something, right? Some medal, whether it be a gold, silver or bronze. Some recognition has to be there for my country. So that's how in fact she was thinking all about. That is the spirit, right? That is the spirit all of us must have. Okay. So here Mary Kom had a right spirit, and because of her right spirit she was able to compete and win silver medal for the nation. The greatest disadvantage for her was loss of appetite. Now she explains her stay in the USA. Year 2001, she took part in the USA World Championship, where she became a silver medalist. Now she explains she found it very difficult because of the new environment, the climate condition. The greatest disadvantage she expresses that a loss of appetite. That means food habit, food, right, which we take. See, she is from a North Indian background. Usually North Indian people go for what? Chapati, right? Wheat food, okay, the food which is made of wheat, okay. So there she was not able to get that particular food which she was longing for. So because of which what happened, body weight, right, came down. She lost weight also. During her career she traveled a lot and she liked Chinese food, okay. So now she became a silver medalist in the USA in the year 2001. Now she has become what? So popular. The nation has come to know her. In fact, the nation has come to know her. The world knows her. The entire people know them. In fact, know her. And because of which a lot of recognition, what happens? She happens to travel. She happens to take part in a number of sport activities, boxing activities. So that's what she explained. She was given a warm reception at Delhi on a return from the USA. She expressed a desire to win the gold for the country. There, people are asking, okay, what is your expectation? Come on, you have won. Okay, you have brought good reputation for the nation. Okay, fine, you have brought silver for the nation. Okay, what is your future idea? Here she says, yes, my future idea is to win gold for the country. She was also given some prize money after a win. She was appreciated with the prize amount. It helped her to end her financial problems. She was offered even the post of a sub-inspector of police. Okay, she was given an employment in the police department. With the designation of a sub-inspector. Understand? So a lot of things come in. The moment you become popular, okay, the moment you achieve great things, what happens? Glory comes in. Okay, a lot of things comes in, appreciation comes in, and become what? Become a star. She continued her sports career even after marriage. See, this is what the spirit is all about. See, she got married, and after having got married, she did not end up. She did not lose. She did not give up. She continued, in fact, her career boxing. She retained the third World Women's Boxing Championship. Okay, that is more important. She retained the third World Women's Boxing Championship. She was the women boxing champion, and she retained again. She had a good run from 2001 to 2004. From year 2001, what happened? She became a silver medalist in the USA, and after which what happened? 2002, 2003, 2004, she became what? The women's boxing championship gold medalist in the World Women's Boxing Championship, continuously for 3 years. From the year 2002 to 2004. After wedding, she won a gold in the third and fourth World Women's Boxing Championships in 2005 and 2006. In the year 2005 and 2006, even after wedding, she won a gold in the third and fourth World Women's Boxing Championships. She won a hat-trick of World Championship wins and was Christine, Queen of Boxing, and Magnificent Mary. She was named because of her achievements, because of her efforts, because of her continuous outperforming events, because of her extracurricular, in fact, activity. She was named as Queen of Boxing, Magnificent Mary. She was christened here in the sense named. It's an additional name which is given to Mary Kom because of her number of achievements. Because there was no lady in India who reached these amount of achievements in her career. And she happened to be the first lady in sport activity in India, where she retained a number of titles in the boxing field, and because of which what happened, the nation itself named her as Queen of Boxing and Magnificent Mary. Hope you understand. Yes. So this is what the entire process is all about Mary Kom. This is what she explains about her sport career, how she was, how she struggled, which sort of background she was from. She explained all, and how she excelled, number of championships, how she was into. All these were explained by Mary Kom herself. Now, in order to understand, let me test your understanding. What is that you have understood so far? So once if you were keen on listening to or looking at the entire PPT, you'll be able to understand, you'll be able to come out with the answers to all these questions. The prose is about, yes, Mary Kom. The prose talks about whom? Mary Kom. The prose is about the sport activity, yes. Which sport activity? Boxing. Which sport Mary Kom opted? Boxing. Is Mary Kom from a poor background? Yes, she is from a poor background. How did Mary Kom manage to get financial support for a trip to the USA? Yes, not to move to USA, she wanted very hard. Her father was able to collect rupees just 2,000. Later on, two members of parliaments contributed rupees 8,000. Okay, so we saw all those the slides. Mary Kom was named as what? Queen of Boxing. So with this, the prose gets over. Hope certainly would have understood the entire prose, would have come across the great personality. Certainly, many people certainly would have come across this particular person certainly before. But if this personality happens to be a new figure to some of you, yes, this is the right time for you to get to know these informations, because these informations are really vital, very important to understand this particular figure, personality, because this prose is oftenly being asked in your exams, especially in your public examinations, where either you will have in 3-mark question or in a 5-mark paragraph question. So these are the points, these are the very important points. Just go through this particular PPT. The moment you are able to go through this PPT at least 2 to 3 times, you will have a clear, better understanding about this particular prose. Hope you really understood this particular prose. So let us meet in the next lesson. Thank you so much.